So we had two companies report earnings after the bell today, guys, and the first one is Enphase, which ended up beating on EPS and on revenue, and their guidance for Q1 for revenue is phenomenal. So let's just dive into it and look at the stock, guys. It is up massively after the bell. We're talking up 7%, and at one point it was up over 11%. So they ended up doing adjusted EPS of 151 versus 124, so they beat on that, and they beat on revenue, 724.6 million versus 706.5, and guidance, guys, get this, for Q1 they see revenue of 700 to 740 million versus the 682 million estimate. That is, incredible guidance. And for a company like Enphase, which is not trying to be the most, even though they're profitable right now, they're not trying to be the most profitable company, I'd guess. They're more focusing on revenue. And of course, I guess the fact that they've been profitable is a good sign as well. But overall, this is a growth company. And the fact that their guidance is amazing for the next quarter, that is enough to really send the stock soaring, which is what we're seeing right now. And you guys can see we're now at a big level of resistance, right around 260, which was that high from the middle of January. And that's also right by the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart. That's a big resistance, guys. So in the short term, let's see if we could break 260. If that point is able to break, there could be a lot more upside on Enphase. And on top of what we're seeing here, this being a big resistance, right? We have an inverse head and shoulders playing out. You guys see this right here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and the right shoulder here, even though I butchered that, bear with me, guys, the right shoulder, there's a long ways to go if it's able to break that 260 level. So pretty good report from Enphase, and pulling up, let's say, this 3-year chart, you can see the uptrend is clearly holding. This thing is looking pretty good on the 3-year chart. And on the 4-hour chart, like I've mentioned before, Enphase sold off pretty much the entire year so far because it was just way too hot heading into this year. So as the markets in general have been crushing it, and mind you, today, guys, the S&P went up 1.3%, NASDAQ up over 2%, Russell up 0.8%, same with the Dow. As the markets have been crushing it all year, Enphase has not participated in that rally. Keep that in mind. So if we get above 260, there could be a big move coming for Enphase. And for Chipotle, well, it's selling off. It's not looking like it's making a big move after the bell like Enphase. Chipotle ended up doing $8.29 EPS versus the, get ready for this, guys, $8.90 estimated. So they missed EPS and they missed on revenue, $2.18 billion versus $2.23, so that's not good. But revenue is up 11% year over year. That's not bad. And they see, well, this is not good. Pretty much none of these numbers are good, I would say. I guess 11% year-over-year revenue growth is not bad. But one reason why the stock's selling off probably is, well, of course, they've missed EPS and revenue, but Q4 comparable restaurant sales increased only 5.6% versus the almost 7% estimated. That's not good. They also see Q1 comparable restaurant sales in the high single digits, so probably 5, 6, 7 range. Okay, that makes sense. And they see 255 to 285 new restaurant openings, I believe, in full year 23, if I remember correctly. Or is that for the next quarter? I have to double check. But either way, guys, looking at the chart, we can see Chipotle has been all over the place, right? The stock has been all over the place. Not only has their prices been all over the place. They jacked up the price for the tortilla. It used to be free. Now you got to pay 50 cents for the tortilla, and you got to pay extra for everything pretty much. Not only is that going all over the place, but, well, the stock is as well. You guys can see it right here. This thing was at $17.50 back in September, went all the way down to $13.50 in the beginning of January, and now look at it. It's at $16.50 here after the bell. So this thing broke out of 1600 a couple days ago, which is great. It ran up all the way to 1730, got a bit overbought heading into earnings. Earnings came out, not that great. The stock selling off. It makes complete sense, right? And now you guys can see this is a big support. We're right by 1600. That was the high from end of September all throughout the beginning, more like the middle end of January. So this is a very critical spot for the bulls, guys, right by the 50 SMA as well on this 4-hour chart. If Chipotle could end up holding this point, you could argue we could get a bounce back on this. You could argue that. But the second it breaks 1600, I might as well set my alert, mark as at or below. That is where things could get ugly. But right now, as long as it holds 1600, even though their earnings were not good at all, the bulls are still in charge, at least in my opinion. Of course, I'd love to know your thoughts down below in the comments as always. So those were the two companies that reported, Enphase and Chipotle. Tomorrow we have a bunch of other ones like Uber. Off the top of my head right now, I'm forgetting, but I know for sure Uber's tomorrow, a couple other ones as well, big names tomorrow. And looking at the markets, if you guys caught my last video, we talked about how I wouldn't be surprised if we rallied into the close and if we took the highs out from the midday, which SPY were right around 415. And look at that. We took that out. We hit 416. And, I mean, talk about volatility. You guys can see we hit 415. We went to 407. Then we shot all the way to 416, pretty much in the latter half of the day. And now after the bell, we're coasting at 414.50. So SPY's crushing it, looking amazing, in the very short term at least. And if we pull up the 4-hour chart, SPY is now looking like it's bouncing off that 50 SMA on the 4-hour, which we've talked about. I talked about that this morning, and we mentioned that, yesterday, even though we saw a couple pullbacks, 2 red days in a row, I believe, where SPY pulled back. We talked about how the trend on the 4-hour and especially on the 20-day was still holding for the bulls. And now we're getting that clear pop, the clear buying pressure, and you can see that same exact thing on Triple Q here. You guys see that, right? Clear as day. We held the uptrend, popped off 304, 305. Now we're pushing 310. We might be, going above 310, 315 pretty soon here by the looks of it. 315 being that high from the 2nd of February. So markets are looking pretty good right now. The VIX has gotten destroyed. Well, today it wasn't that bad, but still 4%, 4% red day. And I keep choking, guys, on my words here. Give me a second. By the way, hit that like button if you're finding value. I appreciate you all as always, and make sure to follow me on TikTok. If you haven't done that already, I actually went live for 45 minutes on TikTok today. If you guys want to see me live, go follow me, Stas Talks Stocks on TikTok. You'll see me there, and I promise you won't be disappointed with the content. All right, so VIX is pretty low. And you guys know the historic range here, at least the past 3 years, has been between, 14, 15 on the lower end, 35, 40 on the higher end. And, well, we're at 18 right now. So it's clear to say, or easy to say, or it's easy to see, rather, that we're at the bottom of this range, which is a little bit alarming. I'm not going to lie. It is a little bit alarming that that's where we are on the VIX right now. In other words, I think we could be due for some sort of spike, but we're just not seeing it quite yet. That's the reality of the matter. And when it comes to crude oil, let's pull that up and see what's going on with oil. This, it's been, hovering between 70, 80 a barrel, 70 to 82 a barrel to be more exact. You guys can see that here on the 4-hour chart. And we just got a pop at 72, 73. Now we're pushing 77. This could be making a move back to 80, 82, 83 in the short term, but that's a big level of resistance, and I'm not convinced at all that oil is going to get out of there. We failed time and time again at that point. Literally, I could count on 2 hands, or I need more than 2 hands to count on how many times we failed. Oil's failed at 82, 83. So that's a quick rundown on the markets. Looking pretty good in the short term here. Again, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you haven't gotten your free stocks yet, I'm not sure what you're doing. Get up to 15 stocks from Moomoo, each up to $2,000 using that link down below. Or you can simply go to StasSurfS.com. That's StasSurfes.com/Moomoo. And you could also get up to 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited down below, or just go to StasSurfS.com, StasSurfes.com/Webull. Get your free stocks, guys. It's free money. It also helps out the channel. I appreciate you all as always. And now let's talk about a couple more stocks before we do wrap up the video, because I actually have a basketball game in less than an hour from now. So we actually got to wrap this video up and get it uploaded so I could get ready and go to my basketball game, guys. So let's see. Adobe looks pretty solid today. This thing went up 2.3% on the day, so pretty much outpaced all the indexes. And we can see here clearly that the uptrend is continuing on the 4-hour. We pulled back from 403, which we were way overbought. So we got overbought, pulled back down to 372, 370, right by the 50 SMA. And, well, we got buying pressure today, guys. We got, a lot of momentum building, or it seems like a lot of momentum is building. And the fact that we held the lows from the end of August, early September, that's a good sign today as well. So to me, if I extend this to the right, let me show you guys this. We're in this window. We're playing in this window right now, which the next gap to fill could be anywhere from $395 to $400. In other words, there could be anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks of upside from where we are now to about 400, which, yeah, that's that's a pretty good potential move there. And if we crack above 400, maybe we could start going even further from there. So I'm going to set my alert. I'll put two here. One at 385. Mark is at or above. Then I'll put another one at 400. Let's do that. Mark is at or above 400 bucks a share. Meta's another one that I'm looking at here, guys. Of course, I'm always looking at good old Meta stock. This one is one that, well, keeps on going up. 3% green day today. It's pushing 192. And if you guys look here in the very, very short term, we can see a clear resistance at about 195, which is where it kind of peaked out at after the earnings. But at the same time, we're slightly making these higher lows into that resistance, right? So we kind of have a triangle here on Meta on the 5-day, and you got to be careful because it is overbought on the 4-hour chart still, but that doesn't mean it can't make a short-term pop, a short-term move, maybe to 200 if that triangle plays out. And I just spit all over the mic, guys. I hope you didn't see that. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to set my alert at 195. We'll see how it goes from that point. Let me do that. Right now, Mark is that we're above 195 on Meta. And we also have Exxon, which I was actually talking a lot about on the TikTok live earlier. We have Exxon here up 3% on the day. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a second. I got a question on the live. That's what prompted me to look at it. We have an ascending triangle on ExxonMobil, clear as day. Look at this. We've been making higher lows for a good couple months, but at the same time, we've been seeing resistance at 115. That's where we've been getting rejected. So now we're at 115. We're literally there right now. If we could crack above this point, there could be a huge move coming on Exxon, maybe back towards that 117 level from a couple days ago. Maybe this thing starts to break to 125. Maybe even, higher than that. So Exxon, the chart looks pretty good. Shout out to whoever that was on TikTok that, told me about this one. And of course, I look at Exxon all the time, but I haven't looked at it in a couple days. And the chart does look, pretty good. So let's see what else ended up moving quickly before I wrap up this video. Starbucks is one that I'm watching. It looks like it's starting to, continue the trend ever so slightly, up 1.7% on the day. I'll set my alert here at 107.50, which is right by that 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. If we could break out of that, guys, anything is possible. This thing could end up ripping towards 110, 12, maybe even higher than that. So how long are we in here? About 12 minutes. All right, let's wrap this up in a second. Let me see what other movers we had. Let's see some down movers today, guys. GameStop, AMC, those did awful today. GameStop pretty much getting back in a downtrend. AMC is about to collapse as well, not looking pretty whatsoever. Did you guys see Bed Bath & Beyond today? My goodness, this is why I don't mess with these stocks, guys. They went up 95% yesterday. They're doing some kind of offering, I think 1 billion shares or something crazy. I forget exactly. And the stock went down 50% today. So this is like their last-ditch effort to save the company, guys. You all know they're in heavy risk of bankruptcy. I would say they're probably going bankrupt, and they're doing whatever they can do. They're trying to raise money. They're doing whatever they can do, but I don't think it's going to work, guys. And again, this is why I don't mess with these stocks. Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm not going to mess with it, because the risk is just ridiculous. 48% drop in a day, and it could go down even more. I mean, it could go down 90% in a day. If it goes down 50% in a day, it could go down 80. Who's to say it can't go down 90? I mean, this is insane. This is insane, guys. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't want to go too much into this because, again, I actually have to get ready and get out of here. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. Don't forget to get all your free stocks from Moomoo and from Webull. And check out my Patreon. If you guys like the way I break down charts, if you want to be a part of the Patreon portfolio we're building from scratch, which I just bought the first stock in that portfolio today. If you want to be a part of all the Patreon, all the good stuff on Patreon, check it out down below. I promise you guys, you won't regret it. I'll see you on the inside. Peace out.